Hey everybody, Tori here today with another live video. It's Thursday, so that means it's time for Tori. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do another album share and kind of make it like a Throwback Thursday where I show one of my old albums. So last week I shared my first album for my trip with the African Children's Choir, and I thought this Thursday I would share another one. This is the second of 4 albums. So just to give you a quick recap while I'm waiting for people to hop on too, when I graduated from university, I traveled for a year and a half with the African Children's Choir, and we traveled throughout Canada, the US, and the UK for a year and a half. And they did concerts to raise money for their education, and then the end of their trip they get to have their whole education paid all the way through university. I'm just gonna make sure this is in the right place there, and they get their whole education paid for. So I'm gonna show you part 2. So last week I showed you part 1. This is part 2. If you want to check out part 1, you can go back in my feed and see that video. And I'm just waiting to see if anybody else pops on. Carmen is here. Hey, sweetie. I love that you always join me for my live videos. It just makes me so happy. So I know that you're getting a little bit of my desk here, so sorry about that, but it's just the way that I had to set up the camera and everything. So I guess I'll just dive in and let you guys see the album. And again, if you have any questions or anything like that that you want to have answered, you can kind of see my feet a little bit, so sorry about that. If you have any questions that you want answered, just pop them into the question box or the chat box, and I would be happy to answer them. So just to reiterate, because I know a couple people just popped on, I'm going to share another album for Throwback Thursday with you, and this is my time with the African Children's Choir, and this is part 2. Okay, thanks Carmen for letting me know that the angle is okay. I know there's like a book or something, but whatever. I'm just gonna go with it, and hopefully we won't have any technical problems. So I guess we'll just start, and then if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. So I love the way that this album opens. I wanted to have like kind of a really big photo and to have like a statement piece, and I feel like this definitely is that. So I got this large 12 by 12 photo printed. By the way, I print these at Walmart, but I believe you can also do them at Costco, or you can order them online. So I printed it at Walmart. I cut it down so it fit into these 4 by 6 spots. I added the date down here. It's kind of hard to see on the video. Well, actually, it's not that bad. 2012, 2013 with a little bow there. And then I put these stars up there, which I believe those came from either Freckled Fawn or Studio Calico. And then I have The Story Continues. And by the way, this is so cool. I'm just going to pull this out to show you guys. It's hand-stitched. The Story Continues is hand-stitched on there, right on the photo, which is kind of fun. And I just kind of generally drew it out on paper and then put the paper on top, poke the holes, and then hand stitch it in, which I feel like is kind of like a really fun detail. I know people are always doing stitching on their layouts and stuff, but have you ever considered doing stitching like right on your photo? It's kind of a fun technique. Anyways, so that's the main title page of my album, which I just love the way that it works out. And I went with The Story Continues because if you remember from the last album, I ended the album with a photo of the bus. It was also a large 12 by 12, and it said "To be continued." And then I thought it was kind of cute if the second album started with "The Story Continues." My Life on Paper. Hey girl, thanks for joining. I'm just sharing this scrapbook album that I made about my trip with the African Children's Choir, and it was from 2012 and 2013. So this was about December 2012, And by the way, I think I said this in the last video, but I can't remember. What I did was I organized all of my photos from the year and a half based on what month it was, and then split them up into months. The photos aren't necessarily in chronological order in terms of every photo being perfectly chronological, but they are chronological in terms of month and year. So here's some photos from our Christmas concert tour. We did a special like Christmas tour at Christmas time where they sang Christmas songs and all of that. So I kind of did that. I just put the Christmas concert tour here, and I did some more hand stitching, and I actually stitched on my buttons, which I hardly ever do that. I mostly just glue them on because I'm lazy, but honestly they look super cute, so I think I need to do some more like stitching on of buttons. And then down here I just have a journaling card that I actually made. I just took a white piece of cardstock, I put this washi tape all over it, and then I put some stickers and stuff on it, so that would work. And then if you guys were here for my last video, I told you guys that every single month I created a calendar of all of the places we visited and all of the concerts that we did and all of the fun things we did, and I include that every month. And I love that because honestly this is so fun to look at, and we traveled a lot when we were on tour. We changed houses almost every other night. So you can see in just the month of December, we were in Westport, Connecticut, Hillside, New Jersey, New York, New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Groton, Connecticut, Greenvale, New York, Greensvale, I guess, Kensington, Pennsylvania, Goshen, Indiana, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Faith Creek, Wisconsin, Wausau, Wisconsin, Minneapolis. Then we drove to Texas. We had a concert in Austin, Texas, and we were in Austin, Texas this whole time. So can you believe that we traveled all those places? Which is kind of crazy. And then I had all the different concerts and everything in there and all those fun things. And then on the back, I had a map that somebody letterpressed for me, and I colored in all the states that we visited up to that point. I also included some memorabilia, like this piece of wrapping paper from a present my sister had sent me, and that was really fun. So I just love the way that those worked out. By the way, this page protector is an 8 by 10, so basically you just print on an 8.5 by 11 paper and just trim it down a little bit, pop it in. Hey Tracy, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. By the way, if you guys have any questions, please let me know because I love questions. They make the live videos so much more interesting and actually way easier for me because then I don't have to like talk nonstop about just whatever. This is kind of a fun thing that I included. It was from one of the hotels we stayed in, and we stayed in this hotel called Norwalk Inn and Conference Center. I don't even remember where this is. Maybe somebody knows. Anyways, while I was in the washroom one night, one of the girls took the little like comment card and wrote the like sweetest letter, and I just thought it was so funny that I actually kind of stole it for myself. But date, name is Tracy, Patience, Tracy and Patience, and then the room they wrote down 205, and then they just wrote like these really sweet comments like, why did you decide to stay in the Norwalk Inn? I love you. You are awesome. Your facilities are excellent and good. Your staff are courteous and friendly. The rooms are clean and comfortable. And then here, why? There are nice flowers. Suggestions and comment. God loves you from ACC. 1 Samuel 16:7. Like they just, and then they drew like a picture on the back. It was just hilarious. Like these little kids writing this letter. So I kept that and I stuck that in here. It's like my favorite kind of memorabilia. And then this page, I'm gonna just be honest, is like a complete waste of space. But I did it purposely because the photos that I had for this month didn't really make sense to go with these photos, so I just kind of needed something to cover up the page. So basically just took a bunch of papers that match this and stuck them on the page. So some people would not do that because they think it's a waste of space, but for me, like it visually didn't work to put other photos there. So whatever, I just covered it up with paper. I'm actually wondering, do you guys ever do that? Like, do you ever just like leave a page blank or just fill it with paper or cute cards just because of the way that you're album works, I just wonder. Anyways. And then on the next page, I have a bunch of photos from the Christmas concerts, and these were when they were in their like really cute outfits. The boys had little tuxes and the girls had these adorable white dresses, and they just look so cute, and they love those outfits so much that I had to do like a 2-page spread about it. Christmas time brings, and then I kind of had some like words of different things that they bring. And this is kind of a fun trick too that I did, and I think that you could definitely do that. In the concert, Alan Dan, this little boy here, he used to always say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the African Children's Choir." So I kind of created like a little speech bubble and then stamped that out there. Are all of your page protectors the same configuration? That's a great question, My Life on Paper. No, they're not. So I definitely use different sizes. So that's 8 by 10, and then these are 12 by 12. Some of them are this configuration, which is design C, but you'll see that there's other ones too. So I kind of just mixed it and matched it based on like what photos I had and what I liked and what I thought would look good. So we visited New York, which they thought was like the most incredible thing in the entire world. Here's a bunch of kids who come from the poorest of poor neighborhoods in Uganda. They've never seen big, huge buildings before, and they were like amazed. So I have a whole bunch of photos of that. Times Square, which they thought was the most incredible thing ever. We were on CBS, so that's why we were downtown. And we went to the Disney store, and we just walked around the Disney store, and you know, like most North American kids would be like, "Can I have this? Can I have this?" Not them. They just walked around in like awe, like, Disney, and they just loved it so much. Their faces were like epic. So I had to include a photo of that. And then this was like a really fun moment, and I don't know if I'll tell you about every single layout and page, probably not, but this was just so hilarious, I have to share it. They saw this like guy who's dressed up as Elmo, like in an Elmo costume, and they have those all over downtown New York. And the kids saw a life-size Elmo and a life-size, like, all these different characters, and they were so freaked out. They were so scared. So here you have 20 African children who have never seen a life-size thing like that, and they freaked out. Like, they were terrified. They all screamed bloody murder and ran the other direction. We had to like run after them and catch them and be like, "It's okay, it's okay, it's just a person in a costume, like there's a person in there, you don't have to be afraid." And like, honestly, these kids are like 7 to 10 years of age, and they had never seen or heard of anything like that, and they were so terrified, which like now looking back is really funny, but at the time they were so scared, and we had to like literally run down the street to catch some of the kids because they were so scared of this life-size Elmo. And the craziest part is I actually caught a photo of it because I kind of saw him in the distance, and I knew that they had never seen anything like that, so I had my camera ready because I was like, I wonder if what they're gonna think of this life-size Elmo. And so I actually got a photo of Elmo standing there and the kids like turning and running the other direction, which is just hilarious. Some more photos of New York, and I included some, I like to call this digital memorabilia. So I think of memorabilia as something like this, right? But I also like to think about memorabilia like this, where you take a screenshot of your weather app or your tweets or your Facebook messages and things like that, and you include that. So I included a weather app. There's this card in here that you can pull out and turn around, and it's got journaling on the back, and so it's kind of interactive. Some stitching. Here's another different size page protector, so this was fun. Another like more New York photos. There's so many New York photos just because I love New York, and they had such a fun time looking around. We went to Central Park and had ice cream and hot dogs. And then they were on CBS, so that's what those photos are. Santa Claus came to visit them, which they thought was amazing. We bought groceries for Christmas, and we filled 8 entire grocery carts of food for the choir. Because we were at a camp and we had to cook for ourselves that week. And then this is really fun. I actually really like the way that this page worked out. What I did here on these cards, which is kind of a fun technique, is I took white cardstock, I laid a doily on top, and I sprayed Mr. Huey's or Mist on it. And it created like almost like a stencil, and then I turned that into Project Life cards. And then here I used that stencil that I had sprayed on this card, so it kind of incorporates it together, which I just love that. And there's another part of that doily that I had sprayed with the Mr. Huey's to create this stencil design. And then we went to a camp for Christmas time, so we basically had a week and a half off of concerts and just had fun together. So we did a fashion show where the kids all dressed up and played to music, and it was hilarious. So I included that. Here's some more photos of the fashion show. They were just hamming it up. So adorable. You know, when I look back at this album, I love these photos. The one thing I would say is I wish I had added more journaling. This was like the second scrapbook I had ever made, and so I didn't really know that like journaling was that important to me, so I added like little facts and stuff, but I didn't really add like how I was feeling and things like that. So I wish that I had done that. And by the way, this is the first Christmas any of these kids have ever experienced in terms of presents and things like that. So giving them Christmas presents was like amazing. Their reactions were like the best. So like the girls got dolls and the boys got a set of cars. They each got a new outfit, which they loved. And they each got somebody had donated a CD player and CDs for all the kids. So they each got their own CD player with some CDs, and they were so excited. Their reactions were like priceless. Like you'd give them their very first present ever, and they'd like open it all together, and then they'd run around the room screaming and saying thank you, and it was just priceless. So I did include a little bit of that. I kind of wish I had added more. Maybe I might go back eventually and add more journaling about some of these photos. And then just a picture that one of the kids had drawn and just stuck right in there. Some more photos of them getting their presents and their reactions, and then Christmas dinner, what we ate and what the kids thought about it. Making cookies, some more making cookies. We had like a birthday party. Kind of what we did is once a quarter we would do like a birthday party, and everybody who had had a birthday at that time would celebrate, and so there were like 10 kids who were celebrating all at the same time. And then this is a family Christmas card. We had taken this photo while I was in Ontario earlier that year, and then my mom sent me the family Christmas card, so I thought it would be kind of fun to include it in the album. Then we had, this was kind of a fun night. We had a boys' night and a girls' night. So all the boys got to do one thing and all the girls did another thing. So all the boys put on fake mustaches, ate candy, and got to watch Mr. Bean, which they think Mr. Bean is the most hilarious thing in the whole entire world. And then all the girls, we did manicures and watched Cinderella. Yeah, so, and what I did here was I kind of thought it would be fun if both pages were separate, but also kind of went together. So here the title is Ships and Sails and Puppy Dog Tales. That's what little boys are made of, and Sugar and Spice and Everything Nice, that's what little girls are made of, so I kind of made those the titles. And then here's some more of that digital memorabilia, a text message, or no, a tweet that I just kind of cut and stuck there. A conversation, I had written down a conversation that we had, and I kind of put that on this page. This is a kind of cute conversation. We were making mashed potatoes. So the host chaperone goes, girls, do you know what these are called? And Patricia goes, squished potatoes? And Angel goes, no, smashed. Wait, squeezed? And I said, do you mean mashed potatoes? And then they're like, and then the host chaperone was like, in Scotland we call them tatties, which I think is funny. Anyways, it was a really funny conversation we were having, so I kind of kept that conversation there. I see a great comment from Carmen. I think how special to give them things that put a smile on their face. Nowadays, it is electronics or games they're happy about. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you can just give them like the littlest things and they're super happy. So, over here, New Year's Eve, we did a special concert in, I want to say Austin, Texas. So there's photos of the concert, and I put some highlights of the year. I just wrote out some different highlights. And then here I have some more memorabilia. I don't even remember what this is. It was kind of too big to stick in the album. Oh, it's just a the poster of the New Year's Eve concert that we did. Yeah. Hosted by Taylor Kitsch. Anyways, so that's just kind of in there. Some awesome memorabilia. Another month, January 2013. So I've got my calendar and my map that I colored in. And this is kind of fun. I had a whole bunch of tweets and I wasn't really sure what to do with them. So I actually just took screenshots of them all and stuck them all into this whole page. So this whole page is different tweets that I had sent out, which is kind of fun. Another digital memorabilia kind of thing. I decided to make a page about each of the chaperones. So there's a photo of each chaperone and everything there. Some more travel, some of the different rest stops and places that we went. Love this page, just a really pretty photo. And some more memorabilia, like a picture of the kids colored. Another layout. This layout's about their socks, because they had a lot of holes in their socks. Which, that's when I realized we needed to replace their socks. But it was funny because all the girls that I had with me that evening had holes, so we had to get them some new unholy socks. This is actually kind of a cute story, and I really wish I had better journaling, because this is all the journaling I had. But this is like kind of a really sweet memory. This was about halfway through tour, so about 6-8 months in. One night I was at the host family's, and I was putting the girls to bed, and I noticed that all of them had holes in their sock. Like, big, huge holes, like multiple holes. And I said to the girls, like, why didn't you tell me that you had holes in your socks? Because the way it worked on tour was if the kids needed something, they would tell the chaperone, like, oh, I need this, I need a new toothbrush, I need, like, my pants ripped or something like that. They would tell us. And I asked the girls, like, why didn't you tell us that that your socks had holes in them? And they were so sweet. They said to me, Auntie Tori, our socks always have holes in them in Uganda. Why do we need to get new socks if they have holes in them? And they're just so sweet that, like, life is so simple to them. They don't need a lot of things. And in Uganda, they probably never even had socks. Some of them didn't have socks. Some of them did. Some of them would have only had maybe one pair, and they had 5 pairs, and if 5 of their pairs had the holes in them, they would never ask for new ones because they were just so thankful to even have socks. So anyways, it's just kind of a really special memory. I think I'm gonna go back in and add some like inserts or something where I could do like a longer journaling story basically and write out some of the stories for like the meaningful layouts like this. A couple more layouts, just random fun moments with the kids, playing dress up and stuff like that. Some other random photos. This one actually does have a lot of journaling. Like what I did was for each photo I put a number on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I did a little journaling card for each of those moments, which is kind of fun. We did some tie-dye. Another giant photo just because I thought it was pretty. Okay, so we went to visit the Grand Canyon, which the kids could never remember what it was called, so they just called it the Giant Hole. Throughout tour, people would be like, what are some of the fun things you've seen? And they'd say, the giant hole, we saw the giant hole. And, aka the Grand Canyon. So I decided to just call this spread the Giant Hole, so I have that there. And I have a photo that somebody took of a bunch of us, a couple of the kids and some of the chaperones. I love this photo. I just think it's so beautiful. And then I have a photo of the Grand Canyon here, and I just replaced one of the spots here with a journaling card so I could add some journaling, but it's just so pretty. And then again, this is the beginning of the month, so this is February and all the different places we visited. The map that I colored in of all the places we visited. Some more ephemera. Somebody sent me flowers, so I have just the card. I don't know what you call that, like the greeting card that comes with flowers. And then I have a couple of Grand Canyon, what do you call these? Postcards. I just stuck in there, so some memorabilia. Some more Grand Canyon photos, just super adorable. I love this photo. It's like my favorite photo. And this layout is so plain and simple, I didn't even add any journaling to it. So obviously my scrapbook style has changed a lot, but I still think it's kind of fun to have this kind of layout. But I might just go back, and I feel like I could add journaling now, maybe just add some journaling to this layout about what it was like to visit the Great Hole with the kids. Some more photos, the chaperone, choir 39. I don't know, nothing really like crazy stands out to me about this. Here's a letter that somebody sent us with a bunch of signatures and everything. And this is another photo here. So I don't have any journaling about this photo, but I just think it was cool, so I wanted to include it. But this is kind of fun, and I'm really glad I did this actually. So on tour, I fell out of the bus. This is gonna be so funny. We travel around with our tour bus, and one day I was getting off the bus and I fell off the bus and I sprained my ankle. And I was basically in crutches on tour / in like borrowing wheelchairs from different organizations and churches and concert halls that we went to for like 2-3 months. It was ridiculous. Anyways, so I have kind of a long journaling piece here. I put the epic fall. That's what I called it. And then I put the who, what, where, when, why. So I kind of put a little journaling of each of those things. And then on this side, I put some photos of me like in crutches and wheelchairs and stuff that I was borrowing. And then I also had some tweets just from that time, which I think is kind of a fun way to memorialize that. I mean, not that you necessarily want to memorialize something like that, but I feel like it's like part of tour and what was happening at that time, so it's kind of fun to include it. Plus, looking back, it was funny. Like, at the time, I fell and sprained my ankle really, really badly and was on crutches. That was not funny. But looking back, it's funny. That's why this is Throwback Thursday, because we're looking back. We visited the Golden Gate Bridge in California, which the kids thought was really amazing. They loved how big it was. So, oh, there's another style of page protector. This is Design G, which I actually really like this style. I'm actually kind of wondering, does anybody know, do they make any scrapbook albums that are 10 by 12? Because I really like this size. I feel like that's such a nice size. It's just small. It's like such a cute size, 10 by 12. I would love to make a whole album that's 10 by 12. I don't know, maybe somebody can leave me a comment and let me know. Maybe for December Daily. That would be a fun size for December Daily, like 10 by 12. Now I'm wondering. I'm gonna look that up after this. Some hand stitching, some photos from the, what do you call this? Golden Gate Bridge, and some journaling. The next page, we visited the beach, and I just took some photos of the beach, and I took some photos of the things we gathered. They gathered a whole bunch of random treasures from the beach. Now, obviously, I didn't want to carry all those things with me, but what we did was I had the kids gather them, and then we kind of put them out, and I took a picture, which is kind of fun if you don't want to actually like keep things that your kids collect. Just like have them collect them, take a picture, and put your picture in there instead of actually keeping them all. I'm just noticing that I forgot the date there, so I probably have to go back and add that. Another insert, so this is 5x7 photo, which I just thought this photo was so cute that I kind of wanted it to be a little bigger. Another cute photo. a layout. I did want to mention this layout, I believe, was scrap lifted. I'm not sure. I can't remember who I scrap lifted this from. Sometimes when I scrap lift a layout, I'll add the name of who I scrap lifted it from on the back of the layout, but I didn't because this was probably the first time I've ever scrap lift. But it is a really beautiful layout, so I'm sorry to whoever, I can't remember who made this, but I did get the design over on Studio Calico's gallery, so maybe if you went to the gallery you might be able to find out who made it to kind of get the inspiration from. A photo, and this is like probably the first time that I ever added like a long piece of journaling, and then I realized kind of that maybe I should do that more often. So this is such a meaningful story too, so I wanted to include it, and I think you guys are gonna like this story, so I'm gonna read the story to you. There are some moments in life that define you, moments that rock you to the core of your soul, that never leave you, that change the trajectory of your existence. Nina Margaret is my moment. We were waiting for our host families to pick us up when she gently took my hand and looked up at me with searching eyes. I could see tears welling in her eyes as she looked at me and said, "Auntie, will you teach me how to spell my name?" At first I was confused. She knew how to spell Nina. Whenever she handed in an assignment in class, BTW, time out for a second, I was their teacher. Whenever she handed in an assignment in class, her name was boldly printed on the top. I knelt down beside her and I asked her, "What do you mean?" She looked down, away, and embarrassed, and told me that she didn't know how to spell Margaret. It broke my heart to see her like that. She was like actually really embarrassed. I know it took everything in her to come and admit that she needed help. So here's a 10-year-old who didn't actually know how to spell her name. It broke my heart to see her like that. Her country's education system had failed her. Her name, the very thing that defined her, was a roadblock, a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. I reached out and pulled her in, hugging her tight. I promised I would help her learn it, no matter what it took. That night we practiced spelling Margaret over and over again. We didn't have any paper or pens, so she spelt it over and over again with her finger on the palm of her hand like this. When I put her to bed that night, I shut the lights off, and she said, "Love you, girls." In the quiet darkness, I heard, "Thank you, Auntie Tori." 2 days later, she drew this picture, which I don't actually have the picture, which is so heartbreaking. But anyways, she drew this picture and handed it to me. How proud she was to show me that she could spell her name. So right across the paper, she had written Nina Margaret. My heart swelled with pride, my eyes burned with tears, and I knew at that moment I would never be the same. To me, that picture speaks louder than any words I could ever write. Nina Margaret is my hero. She overcomes, no matter where she comes from, no matter what her past is. There is a bright future ahead. Blessed. I am truly blessed. Like, honestly, guys, like, how does that not melt your heart and, like, completely rock you to your core and make you want to be a better person and, like, help other people with education? Like, honestly, life-changing moment, and I'm so glad I wrote that down. Like, so glad I wrote it down. I really wish that I had kept the piece of paper that she had written her name Nina Margaret on, because that would have been, like, the perfect thing to have here. But sadly, I lost it. But at least I have a picture of her and that really good story. I'm just really thankful that I have that there. Another large 12 by 12 photo, and then I finished the album off with another 12 by 12. One of the things I decided pretty early was that I wanted every album to start with a 12 by 12 photo and to end with a 12 by 12 photo. So I have To Be Continued, which is the way that I ended every layout, I think. Okay, good. I still have You, To Be Continued, and then I have a couple of those Becky Higgins envelope pocket things in here, and I just included some memorabilia. So a card that somebody had written on. I got a bunch of cards for Valentine's Day and my birthday. Those are all in there. And I actually put some of them in, and then a couple of them I had actually glued to the outside of the envelope so I could read them. And then this one has some Christmas cards. and stuff like that. I kept some of those. This one's kind of fun. It plays music. Anyways, that was in there. And I stole this too. I probably should have given it back, but it's like an all-access pass for a concert that we did. And then I had a couple of other cards in here, and I just kind of glued them in so that I could see them. Anyways, there you go. There is my Throwback Thursday album with all of the different memorabilia and photos and all of those great things. Did you guys have any questions or anything you wanted me to talk about or wanted to see again? I would be happy to answer them. I kind of feel like it's just a fun album, and I love looking back at it. Honestly, I think this might be one of the first times I've looked back at this album in a long time. So it's kind of fun to look back at it and tell you guys about it. And maybe it gave you some ideas for how to document your memories, and hopefully a reminder to do more journaling and to write down those stories. I'm just going to go back to the beginning, and I'm just checking to see if I have any last questions or comments or thoughts or things you're wondering about before I leave you guys for the evening. I hope that you guys enjoyed this live video. Just as a couple of reminders for you guys, for those of you who are on, I post new videos on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Basically every day with a T should have some Tori. So I'll see you guys on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Lately I've been doing a lot of live videos on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays just because I haven't had time to edit and make videos because I've been so busy with my sister's wedding plans and stuff like that. But hopefully after the wedding is over, I will be able to get back to life and do some recorded videos that aren't live. But I mean, I know you guys enjoy the live videos too, and I really love chatting with you guys too. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you want to be notified every single time I post a video or do a live video, hit the little bell symbol that's right next to the subscribe button so that you're always notified when I post a new video. And thank you so much for liking and commenting on this video. It actually really encourages me and makes me want to continue making videos just like this. And by the way, if you want to go back and check out last week's Throwback Thursday when I did an album share, that is on my channel a couple of videos back, so you can go back and look at that. And Carmen is saying, thanks so much for sharing your memories. Aw, thanks Carmen. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. And I have 2 more albums to share with you from my trip with the African Children's Choir. I've done the first 2, and maybe next video I'll do the next one to kind of show you my progression of scrapbooking. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And I'm off. It is 9:15 in the evening, and I know it's pretty late for some people, so I'm just going to say goodnight. I love you lots, and thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you on... What day is it? It's Thursday. I'll see you on Saturday. So a new video every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. See you then.